Hi, my name is Adam Cox. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, phobia expert, founder of phobiaguru.com, and the UK's leading expert at eliminating phobias rapidly. Now, one of the most common phobias that I work with, probably only outside of fear of spiders and perhaps fear of flying, is the fear of public speaking, also known as glossophobia. Now, the reason why I'm so passionate about this phobia, it is one of the three phobias that I had as a child, and the reason why I do what I do now. So I had three phobias as a child: fear of heights, fear of people, I had social anxiety, and a fear of public speaking. And I would say the fear of public speaking was the last of those fears to go. For me personally, if there was any more than about 3 or 4 people that I had to talk in front of, I would get a tightness around my throat. I would start getting a red rash around my chest. It would create a feeling of my breathing rate all changing. And these kind of symptoms are quite common. It can also lead to compulsive inner dialogue, lots of overthinking at the very point where you're meant to be focused on your audience and speaking to them. So glossophobia becomes a real issue because it really deals with the fear of being negatively evaluated. It isn't about the speaking itself so much as thinking about what other people are going to think about your performance or what you've said. Now, as humans, we are very social creatures. One of our biggest fears is being rejected by the tribe. So this kind of fear of being rejected or not being approved of by our peer group actually can lead to quite high levels of anxiety. And I think there's a joke that the fear of public speaking is actually larger as a percentage than the fear of death. So the joke goes that people are more afraid to speak at a funeral than be in the coffin. And that's, it seems strange that the fear levels are so high, but it's because it deals with evaluation of others on ourselves. Now, the symptoms, other than kind of elevated heart rate and breathing rate and these kind of nervous rashes such as blushing, which might be on the face, for some people it can lead to twitches. So unconscious movements, sometimes in the face or the eyelids or muscle spasms. Now, the problem with that is that if you are in an audience, there is a fear that these tiny movements are more visible to the people watching, which can then escalate and amplify these feelings of anxiety. So why this is such a troublesome phobia is that for a lot of people to kind of progress in their careers, a lot of leadership positions involve speaking to multiple people at a single time. That might be presentations or management meetings or to committees or shareholders. So this fear of public speaking actually can limit people's careers, livelihoods. It means that they might not be considered for promotion. A lot of people, because the fear is so severe, will actually not even consider to apply for certain roles or opportunities or promotions because they know that there would be an increased likelihood of public speaking or speaking to audiences at that particular level. So it really, really is impactful. Generally, people come to someone like me if they feel that there is a big speech that they need to do or a talk that they need to do, and they know that the anxiety is there through previous experiences. And that might be a wedding speech. That might be a big presentation in front of a company. So quite often I get the call or the email maybe just a couple of weeks before a major speaking opportunity. And they want to make sure that when they are doing that speaking opportunity, they are fully prepared, they're fully confident. And I can relate to this because I had that same fear, that same phobia. In fact, it was at the age of 23 or 24 that I actually got over this fear because I was invited to speak at an event. So as a child when I was 16 years old, I was involved in a program called Young Enterprise where school kids would build a business together, and it got to the national finals. several years later, when I was about 23, 24 years old, I was then running my own business, and I was invited to speak at the national finals in the Savoy Hotel in London. And this was a high-profile event. There was about 500 people there. And they asked me if I would speak to the audience about my experiences of setting up a business at quite a young age, and my experiences of going through young enterprise and whether or not that helped me. And at that point, I knew that I had a fear of public speaking, but I also knew a little bit about psychology, and I already knew how to deal with a couple of the fears that I'd already dealt with at that point. So I said yes. And then I spent the next couple of weeks focusing on two key things, focusing on the content that I was going to deliver, but also my psychology to make sure that when I did that talk, I was in a very resourceful space. So this fear is completely possible to eliminate. And I wish I knew then what I know now in terms of how to eliminate this fear, because I would have done much better job when I did that talk, although I got really good feedback for that talk. And it was very difficult for me to feel nervous about speaking in front of 15 or 20 people after I'd already spoken in front of 500 people. And to give you an idea of the scale of that talk, I followed the chairman of HSBC Bank in the UK, so a very high profile speaker who'd spoke a lot, and I was on just before the England Rugby World Cup winning captain, and he was talking at the event as well. So I was sandwiched between two very high profile speakers, and yet I was able to get myself in that resourceful state. And once you do that, you never go back to then getting nervous at speaking in front of people. And obviously these days, it's not just a physical audience. Sometimes that audience could be a Zoom call where you've got maybe 10 or 15 people that you're speaking in front of there. So it doesn't even have to be a physical audience where you can kind of see people, on chairs in front of you, and you're on a podium and you've got a microphone. Sometimes it could just be on a screen where there's lots of other people that are going to be there as well. This fear is completely possible to eliminate. And generally, there's two main ways in which I work with people on this fear. One is a 7-day course that I've created that helps people eliminate their phobias in less than a week. Most people, however, choose to work with me one-on-one, and there'll be a link nearby this video that you can book a free 30-minute consultation call. I can talk through how I work, what I've done for other people with this fear of public speaking, this glossophobia, and how to eliminate that quickly. But the results come quickly. And normally in under 3 sessions, I'm able to take someone that have a level 9 or 10 anxiety at speaking in public all the way down to about a 2 or a 3. And the reason why we don't want it to be 0 is that you want a little bit of anxiety, because that helps you prepare, that helps you to stay concentrated. But it reaches a point that if the anxiety is too high, then actually you can make a bit of a mess of things, and then that creates a self-fulfilling prophecy that you are so worried about negative evaluation, so you don't deliver the talk as well as you want, and then you get the negative evaluation. So we need to break that pattern, and when you break that pattern, it doesn't come back to where you were before. If you know someone that has a fear of public speaking, please share this video with them, because it might be useful for them. If you have any questions about fear of public speaking, please put them in the comments. If you want to share your most terrifying talk that you ever did, put them in the comments as well. That will, I'm sure, either reassure other people, let them know that they're not, facing this alone. And if you want more information about this fear of public speaking, please click one of the links below or visit my website, which is phobiaguru.com. Thank you.